Good morning and welcome to another episode of LCTV News. This week, the federal government took action, education was expanded, and more. On the Lynn Lowdown, we had Bob Mathias and Dexter Bishop of the Grand Army of the Republic Hall and Museum. Here's the news for Friday, September 16th, 2022. In a speech given at Logan Airport, President Biden gave details on his infrastructure investments and law acts, which aims to put $1 trillion into state and local governments through grants. The aim of these grants will be to complete infrastructure projects nationwide. Among these is a $20 million grant to rebuild the Lynnway, with the aim of making it more friendly for all who use it, including bikes, pedestrians, and buses. State Senator Brendan Creighton, who also serves as co-chair of the legislators' Joint Committee on Transportation, believes this is an acknowledgement and support from the federal government for the local government's vision on transportation in the future. Mayor Nicholson had similar thoughts, as he believes this funding will allow the city to make transportation the best it can be for those who live in it. The Lynn Housing Authority and Neighborhood Development is offering a program known as the Residential Assistance for Families in Transition, or RAFT for short. It is a homeless preventative program which provides short-term financial assistance to low-income families who are either homeless or at risk of becoming homeless. Mayor Nicholson and the City Council are looking for proposals from organizations, businesses, and nonprofits who are eligible to receive ARPA funding. The window to apply opens this week and will close at midnight on October 17th. Go to lynnarpa.com to fill out an application form. Projects will be made public in November and go before the City Council for a vote on November 22nd, 2022. Organizations who already filled out an application during the Phase 1 submittal plan are encouraged to fill out a shorter application for returning applicants. Due to the extremely dry climate, the reservoir system, which supplies Lynn's drinking water, has dropped below 51% of its maximum capacity. Therefore, a mandatory water ban is being put in place for the city of Lynn. The Lynn Water and Sewer Commission has banned all outdoor water use. They are also requesting that the Department of Public Works shut off sprinkler systems in public areas. A warning will be issued to first-time offenders, with fines or termination of services imposed on repeat offenders. For a complete list of ways you can help preserve water, head to our website, lyntv.org. Mass Development announced on Wednesday they will be starting a 3-year Transformative Development Initiative, or TDI, and sending fellows to 13 gateway cities, including Lynn. The fellows will provide economic development expertise while also helping TDI partnerships use tools to launch developments in technical assistance, grants to support local markets, and arts and cultural infrastructure, to name a few. The Baker-Polito administration more than doubled the size of the program last February and will be investing over $23 million in the gateway cities where the fellows are being placed. After months of protest, the Lynn VA Clinic will be getting a 5-year reprieve. The clinic was set to close at the end of its 1-year lease following a recommendation by the Department of Veterans Affairs to close the clinics in Lynn and Gloucester to open a new one in Salem. This caused the local VA branch, as well as city and state government, to ask for answers. A meeting on September 2nd with Mike Sweeney, Lynn's Director of Veteran Services, Congressman Moulton, and other officials put the 5-year lease back on the table. Today, Friday, September 16th, the mayor's office announced the lease will be signed, keeping the clinic in Lynn for at least the next 5 years. To read the full article and for more details, go to lyntv.org. Thursday the 7th was the 24th Scholarship Golf Fundraiser at Gannon Municipal Golf Course. In addition to golf, there was a dinner and raffle to raise money for the Scholarship Fund, which helps high school students pursue college or other post-high school pursuits.
It's obviously a great day today. We're here at Gannon. We started out in the hunt. We came back to Gannon for a full. Now we do a 9-hole event. We end up with about 100 golfers and 150 people for dinner tonight. Plenty of raffles, all the money going straight back to the kids. And over time, we've really been able to help out a lot of kids.
I just feel that it's important for the kids to, get a better education, be able to go to different schools, get scholarships, and some of the kids can't afford to go to college, so this helps get them there.
Through the years, we've helped out many kids with their college and many adventures throughout. We've even helped some kids that have gone into the military and also into the trade. Lynn Housing, it only makes sense to have it here.
Yeah.
I mean, and so we're creating opportunities through our sponsors like Jimmy, and we're going to open up different avenues for the kids, and hopefully they come back and give back to our community that we are actually trying to help out every day.
Last weekend was full of events, and the community showed up in crowds to attend. First was the 42nd annual Goldfish Pond Fun and Flea Day. Vendors surrounded the pond and were offering a variety of services and merchandise for attendees to browse, as well as a rubber duck race. Here is more.
It's the 42nd year of us throwing this flea market. It's our fundraiser for all the things that we do around here. Plant flowers, take care of the park around, fix benches. We do multiple projects throughout the year. But this year we have a special fundraiser, and it's a duck race. And we have 100 of them. We're going to throw them in the pond. So it'll be fun. We've sold out one race already. We're going for a second race. I've even printed out a third race, so maybe we'll get a third race out of this.
It's my first time here, and people have been amazing, such an amazing experience. And what I'm selling is Color Street. It's a nail polish strip, and come by and check it out. There's a lot of stuff that people are selling. They have clothing, jewelry, you name it. Whatever you buy in the store, you can literally get them here.
We have approximately 50 vendors every year that come to this event, and they sell anywhere from clothes, some artwork, crafts, antiques, toys. Lots of toys, I'm hearing. And raffle tickets.
Every year I come to this event. I love it. And every different table is different. That's what I like about it. Everybody's got something different. Really cool. I love it here. I love this event.
But thank you all for supporting Goldfish Pond throughout the year. I'm the president of the association, but this year the flea market is run by Paul Coombs. He did a lot of the work putting this thing together with a lot of the old-time volunteers that we have here today.
The Lynn Fire Department and Lynn Police Department once again teamed up for the Police and Fire Family Day at Lynn Woods. Kids of all ages and families could participate in a race through the woods, as well as explore the police cars and fire truck. Take a look.
So this is an open event that started out a couple of years ago. We were going to do a race in the woods for the public, like they do on Wednesday nights, and it kind of grew from there. The police and the fire relief associations came together to host this event for the public, to bring them up to Lynn Woods to demonstrate and showcase some of this portion of Lynn that not a lot of people know about. And we've been growing every year and still trying to figure out how to coordinate it all in the morning. Yes, we do. We have 3 races. Bill Mullen sets them up. We do a kids race, which is about a mile, and then we do a short race up to the Steel Tower, which we incorporated because of its historical relevance to the fire department. And then we do a longer race. It's about 4.5 miles, because we find that people are really in shape and they like to run those. So the proceeds get split in half and they go to the Lynn Fire and the Lynn Police Relief Associations separately. And then as the community reaches out to the fire department and the police department, we're able to donate back to different charities, different, events, baseball, things like that.
The 10th annual Those Who Care for Those in Need Resource Fair took place at a new location, the Democus YMCA, on Saturday. A variety of organizations lined the halls for those coming through to learn more about the services offered. Here's more from the event.
We're here inside the Demicus Family YMCA in Lynn. We're having our 10th annual resource fair. It's amazing that we've been doing this for 10 years. Not here at the Y, but I've been doing it at various places. We're Winthrop based, and there's all kinds of organizations here. There's too many to name. We have family children activities, we have snacks, we're face painting, magic show, and I want to have a huge shout out to all these sponsors that helped pay for the things going on today. We hold this, like I said, every year. You never know when somebody's going to need some resources and stuff. So my contact, if anybody is looking for information, and my website is twctin.org. So hope to see everyone next year.
The Lynn Museum held their 12th annual History in Hops on Saturday the 10th from 7 to 9 p.m. Several breweries from around the area were there to give those in attendance samples of their products. Here is more.
Tonight is our 12th annual History in Hops, and we are back in person, which is super exciting. This is definitely a fan favorite event for us for Lynn Museum Lynn Arts. It's a wonderful way for us to raise some funds for our school tours program, our community events, and we're so thankful that we have all of these wonderful breweries here tonight. We have Anonymous Brewing, Bentwater Brewing, Gentilly Brewing, Granite Coast Brewing, Ipswich Ale Brewery, Lucille Wine Shop, and then we also have some of our own favorites from staff and volunteers that folks can taste and sample tonight. This event would not be possible possible. We have a title sponsor, Creative Collective, and many thanks to our Board of Trustees and the 125th Anniversary Committee for making this event possible. All of the breweries here tonight are fantastic, and a lot of them actually have their own personal Lynn connections, which is pretty sweet. It's important because it's a great way to remind people that we're here, right here in that heart of downtown Lynn. It's a gorgeous night tonight, and it's a great way to welcome people into our space, give them a sense of who we are and why we're important and what this year means to us, especially with our 125th anniversary this year. We're just having a great fun time, and it's nice to see people and be back in person. Many thanks again to our Board of Trustees. They donate a lot of the product that's here tonight for the raffles that we have available, and again, the 125th Steering Committee. They've been a huge help in making this event possible.
A Guatemalan flag raising took place at City Hall on Tuesday. Those from the community were able to witness a ceremony full of dancing, speeches, and lights before the flag was raised. Here is more.
Señoras y señores, muy buenas tardes.
Ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. Thank you so much for coming.
Respetables autoridades,
Respectful city officials and state representatives,
artistas y público en general,
artists and general public,
sean todos bienvenidos
receive a very warm welcome from us
a esta gran celebración.
to this big celebration.
Muy buenas tardes, bienvenidos a todos. Felicidades a la comunidad guatemalteca para 201 años de independencia. Estamos muy felices de tener todos aquí. Muchísimas gracias a los organizadores, todos que trabajaron en este evento. Es un placer tener todos aquí.
It's a very deep pleasure for the mayor to have everybody here, from the organizers to the people that actually make this happen.
It's an honor to be part of this celebration of independence, of history, and of culture in the Guatemalan community.
La comunidad guatemalteca agrega mucho a nuestra ciudad. La música, el arte, y más la comida, y más importante, la gente.
The Guatemalan community brings a lot to the city, from the food to the music to the love of the community.
Now for the sports update. The Boys Soccer City Series has been completed, and it was the Lynn Classical Rams who came out victorious over Lynn Tech 2-1. For the first 60 minutes of the game, it was a back-and-forth battle, with neither side able to break through the other's defenses. However, at the 18-minute mark of the second half, Felipe de Oliveira scored for Tech to make it 1-0. Classical will respond with a goal by Mathias less than 10 minutes later at the 26-minute mark. In the final minutes, Classical was able to score again to secure the 2-1 victory. The Lynn Classical football team took on the visiting Lexington Minutemen and defeated them by an impressive score of 36-0. Senior running back Nick Costa started the Rams with a 31-yard run. The drive was ended with a 51-yard run by Matt Carrillo to put Classical up 6-0. Quarterback RJ Fassler ran for 68 yards for a touchdown before throwing a 30-yard pass on the next drive for an additional score, with only 18 seconds left in the half to give the Rams a 20-0 lead going into halftime. The Rams would score twice more in the game, both times adding on 2-point conversions. Paul Agresta ran for a touchdown at the beginning of the fourth quarter off a turnover by the Minutemen. Quarterback Fassler scored the final touchdown of the game with a 6-yard run. On the volleyball court, Lynn Classical beat Lynn English 3-0, while St. Mary's defeated Lynn Tech 3-1. The Boston Red Sox won their first series in several weeks when they took 2 of 3 games against the Baltimore Orioles. They lost the first game 2-3. Then on Saturday, it was a slugfest, with the Sox winning 17-4. Sunday was an entirely different game, as a pitcher's duel produced a 1-0 Red Sox victory. The Sox were then swept by the Yankees in a 2-game series, 7-6 and 5-3. They now have a 3-game weekend series against the Kansas City Royals. The New England Patriots lost their first game of the season, 7-20, against the Miami Dolphins. They were able to break through the Dolphins' defense despite a good showing by the Pats' defense as well. Next, the Patriots will travel to Heinz Field to take on the Pittsburgh Steelers, who had a dramatic overtime victory over the Cincinnati Bengals last Sunday. And that is the sports update. On this week's edition of the Lynn Lowdown, we sat down with Dexter Bishop and Bob Mathias from the Grand Army of the Republic Hall Museum to discuss the Hall's history and future events. Here is the Lowdown. Good afternoon and welcome back to another edition of the Lynn Lowdown. I'm Dani Vittori, and today we have 2 people here from the Grand Army of the Republic Hall Museum. Thank you for coming on the show.
Well, nice to be here. Thank you.
And would you mind introducing yourself and telling us about the role you play there?
Well, my name is Dexter Bishop, and I'm a trustee to the Hall.
Great.
My name is Bob Mathias, and I'm also a trustee to the Hall and a former employee.
Great, great. And could you tell us a little bit about the Hall? It has a very extensive history back to, I think it's 1885, was it erected?
That Hall was started in September of 1885,
yeah.
And they moved in April of 86. So about 6 or 7 months, they put that building up and moved in.
Oh, that's
They actually started in 1866 as a Civil War veterans post on the Union side. And it took them 19 years to come up with the $32,000 that it cost to buy the land and build the building.
Oh, wow.
So they finally finished that in April of 1885.
86.
No, that's great. And what is the main purpose of the Hall? What was its original intent?
The post, as it was known then,
Yes.
Grand Army of the Republic Post.
Okay.
Its proper name is Frederick W. Lander, General Frederick W. Lander, Post 5, which means it was the 5th post to be constituted in Massachusetts under the overall banner of the Grand Army of the Republic.
Okay.
Okay?
Oh, okay. Good. So it began as a post before becoming what it is today?
That is correct. What you have here today is when the last veteran no longer used the post, it was turned over to the city under the Acts of 1919, which was a home rule petition. And trustees now have the job of ensuring that the memory is not lost and that the post is taken care of.
Oh, that's great. That's a really nice thing to have. And how did you 2 get involved with it? I know you said you're a former employee.
Well, I used to work there. It was the biggest post in the country at one time with almost 2,000 members. And in fact, in the main hall, we have 1,243 photographs of those members. So when you walk in there, they're looking at you, all 4 sides. So it really is amazing. And how we got involved? Well, I used to work there, and I think it's great. The school children have a ball. I love the kids. We have some trustees that they don't like the, there's too much work, but...
Well, we don't need to go there.
Okay, well, we'll get into that later. But it's a great place. You really have to come by and see it at 58 Andrew Street in Lynn.
Yeah. I became involved in it about 30 years ago. I was working with a gentleman who was a member of the Boston, Greater Boston Civil War Roundtable, and they used to come to Lynn and use the hall for their annual holiday party. Back then they called it a Christmas party, but a holiday party. And I made the mistake of saying, gee, we should have a roundtable here. And then I went on vacation, and when I came back, I found that I got elected to be president of the roundtable.
And he still is.
And unfortunately, I still am, yes.
President for life.
Yeah.
We do have many groups to meet down there.
Yeah.
Oh, we did have American Legion groups, VFW groups, and the Historical Commission met there for quite a few years. And the meeting hall that we use for that would be in the basement. And we call that our World War I room. And we have many displays related to World War I that people from Lynn were involved with. And there's 150 that did not return, and their photographs are on the walls. They never became a veteran.
Yeah. Those pictures are called radiotones. Quite rare, in fact. It's a picture on a copper plate.
Oh, okay.
And our hope is that we'll raise some funds to be able to, we can't restore them, but we can halt the deterioration so that they'll just stay what they look like today. Yeah. And so that's one of the many projects that we have to take care of in the future. Of course, right now we're very excited over the fact that thanks to the City of Lynn's position right now, they've going to give us $1.2 million towards putting an elevator, but not in the building.
Oh, okay.
Because the building is a memorial to veterans, not only the Civil War, but all veterans. Okay. So, and because of its age, you're going to build in the left-hand alleyway. I call it a skinny house, but it's a thin building in which there'll be the ramp from the sidewalk, so you could wheel up to the elevator, and then the elevator will take you up and down. Very little impact on the building, just going through windows that are presently in those positions, so that it would make it much easier to get in and out of it.
That's definitely a good idea to do that. And like you said, the building, it's registered as a monument, so you can't really do anything to it, right? Like you can kind of maintain it, but you can't change it.
That's basically it. That under the acts of 1919, if that building was to burn down, the city is called to rebuild it.
Oh, okay.
The only problem is all of the irreplaceable artifacts that are on the inside will be gone.
Right, of course. And how did you get some of these artifacts? Because you clearly have so many very impressive, very rare ones. Where did those come from?
Most of them were donated over the years, starting with these veterans from the Civil War. And today we take donations today. Many people will come down, and sometimes we'll get lucky and we'll find somebody's relative on the walls. We had almost 2,000 members, and there's 1,243 photographs. So when we do that, we have a card system that everything is on that, what regiment they were, when they died, where they were buried. And so some people, it'll be the first time they find, hey, my relative's over at St. Mary's or whatever. And but the donations come from the general public, as well as what was left in the building. And we have many donations. So we have a shell from the Battle of Gettysburg, a tin cup that I found in the attic, which is a crawl space. It's about 4 feet of coal dust up there. But I did find that, so we have it on display. We also have some canteens, some rifles, and quite a few things. So if you're a history buff, and we don't glorify war. We don't do that. The idea is that when the children come in, we try to teach them that from our past mistakes. History is a bunch of mistakes, from the get-go.
Okay.
So we try to teach them the mistakes and so forth, and
we have a minute.
Enlighten them somewhat.
Yeah, but I would be remiss if I didn't say we didn't just have children. We have a lot of adults who come down, and they, a lot of times, will go home with a picture of a relative they've never seen. We even have one picture on the wall that, according to the glass negative, he's in his casket.
Owen McLaughlin is his name.
And so, and you can see that because the mortician is standing next to it with his hand on the casket in his glass negative. So they just cut it out and did that. And I know we only have 10 seconds and we're done.
Oh, is that all we have?
That's all we have.
Oh, we could talk forever.
I know, and you can go a little bit over. That's totally fine. As you said, you can do tours there. That's how people can see.
We enjoy giving tours, whether it be the school children or like Dexter said, we have many people.
As you can see, Bob loves to do the kids. And he takes them through and gives fantastic
If we get through to the kids, particularly junior high school, it's a tough age. The hormones and everything else is going wild. But if we can get through to them, it makes us feel good.
Yeah, and it helps them out.
And oh yes, that's the key.
Yes.
We want to help them out.
Yes. Yeah. Okay.
It is. It sounds like you do so many amazing things there, really preserving the history.
Well, this is the whole thing. As we all know, if we don't know our history, we're bound to make the same mistakes. And so, as the trustees of this building and hall, it's our duty to keep the memory alive of what these men stood for. They, as veterans, took care of their own, and this is something that a lot of people probably don't realize, but they, in their money, their time, they spent over $200,000 on taking care of fellow veterans who had or their wives or families. In today's money, that's $6.4 million.
Wow.
So that shows you quite a bit. And one of the stories that I like to talk about is if you lost your job and you were a veteran and a member of that post, you didn't go home and tell your wife you're unemployed. You went to the post, and then you went home and told your wife about your new job. That post, in the lifetime between 1866 and 1900, produced 7 mayors for the city of Lynn.
Wow.
And we have photographs in the main hall.
Yeah.
Of, I believe, 5 of them.
Yeah. So
including Roland Usher, who was the mayor right after the Civil War ended and was also in the war, and we have his uniform.
Yeah. And we also look at the fact that GE is in Lynn today because of members of this post. We have the documents that show the history of how the Edison worked his way up from Connecticut and became part of the Houston Electric, or Lynn Electric as it was known back in years. And it just goes on and on, the information that's there.
It does. It all sounds just amazing, all the information you have, and thank you for coming on to share some of it with us.
I wish we had more time. I don't mean to interrupt. But
no, of course. Yeah, I know, I did too. I love history too, so I love hearing about all of this. Thank our guest again for coming on, and again, I'm Dani Vittori. That's the end of this week's Lynn Lowdown. Come back next week for more. Now for the community calendar. Next week has several events happening throughout the week. First is the Keep Moving Forward Festival at the Lynn Museum on Sunday, September 18th from 2 to 8 p.m. This will be paired with a new exhibit opening earlier that day at 11 a.m. Trails and sales will be happening throughout the weekend and next week. On Thursday the 21st, there will be a library history tour at the Lynn Library. as well as a Pine Grove Cemetery tour on Sunday, September 25th, beginning at 11 a.m. For a complete list of all the events happening during Trails and Sales, go to our website under the community calendar page. There will also be an open art gallery hosted by Raw Artworks at 4:30 on Friday the 23rd. Head down to see the artwork being displayed by Raw Artworks. For more information on any events listed, go to our website, lyntv.org. That is all for this week's news. To keep up with all the latest happenings and news, head to our website, lyntv.org. Also, subscribe to our YouTube page, Lynn Community Television, to watch videos and event coverage. Follow us on social media at Lynn Community Television to hear all about the latest events. I'm Dani Vittori, and we will see you again next week.